Fantasy football starts of the week. CJ Stroud faces the Colts, and last year against them, he threw for 384 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker III faces the Broncos, who allowed the second most fantasy points per game to running backs and the third most rushing yards last season. He opened up last year on fire with 5 touchdowns in his first 4 games. I think he starts on fire this week. Aaron Jones faces the New York Giants, who allowed the 4th most rushing yards last season, and in his final 5 games as a Packer, he rushed for over 100 yards. I can see him being highly involved in the passing game as well. Davante Adams faces the Chargers, who allowed both the 3rd most passing yards and the 3rd most fantasy points per game to wide receivers last season. Gardner Minshew elevating Michael Pittman Jr. to fantasy football success should make you optimistic. Cooper Kupp faces the Lions, who allowed the 4th most fantasy points per game to wide receivers and the 6th most passing yards last season. It's going to be a huge matchup with a lot of offense, and I think Cooper Kupp sees 10-plus targets. Brian Thomas Jr. faces the Dolphins this week, and I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game, and Trevor Lawrence is going to need an upside wide receiver with touchdown potential, and that can be his rookie. And then finally, Pat Freiermuth faces the Falcons, who allowed the 10th most fantasy points per game to tight ends last season. I think Muth is the second option in a better Steelers offense, and he's going to be looked at a lot this week.